Hey, call me Shape, and today I'm reacting to a video titled The Truth About My Finances in My Mid-40s. Let's get right into it.
And in today's video, I want to break down and discuss how I ended up broke in my 40s, as well as what's my plan to get out of brokedom. Now, before we get started, I know there's going to be some people already in the comment section being like, Tim, you're not broke. You're a YouTuber. You just went to Thailand for 3 weeks. You're not broke. Let me just say, the reason I put broke in quotations in the title is because I do not consider myself like broke. However, there are millions of people around the world who, if they looked at my situation, would consider me broke. If they looked at my lifestyle, if they look at my bank accounts, if they looked at the major things like a home or a car that I don't own, would consider me broke. So that's why I use that word. But I feel far from actually like broke. Actually, I feel very blessed. So grateful for what I do have. But a lot of people on a regular basis, even here on the interwebs, call me broke. So we're going to go with that word. Anyway, this video is mainly to talk about and to talk to people who might be at a similar age as me, people in their late 30s, mid 40s, early 50s, who may not be where we totally want to be financially. You know, for myself, I've partied my 20s away. Everybody knows this. Anybody who knows me knows. My 20s, I worked very hard, but it was really just to pay the rent on the trailer, you know, the double wide I was living in, and to be able to party and drink come the weekend. Actually, all during the week, but seriously on the weekend. That's why I worked, because, you know, I enjoyed work and I enjoyed partying. So that's what my 20s were about. And that kind of transitioned into like my 30s as well. But, you know, the deeper I got in my 30s, around mid 30s, I kind of got out of the partying so much. I was still drinking, but I got out of the partying. And I just got more into just life. And that led to me just tapping into the nomadic side of me. I started traveling. Once again, I was still working, but I was working at like ski resorts and national parks. And the work was mainly just to like facilitate being able to live in those places, you know, and just kind of travel in between the seasonal jobs I was doing. And so that's kind of what, from mid 30s up until like now, that's kind of what my life has been. I love to travel. I love to experience new things. I love to go places. That is where my time, energy, and money is gone. 20s, it was party. 30s up to 40s, it's been travel. And now I've finally reached that age where I'm kind of like rebalancing again. And I just want to say, I don't think anything I've done up till now has been wrong. If I could do it all over again, I would live exactly the same life. But now I'm kind of getting to that place where I feel like my life is like rebalancing. And I feel like I'm like halfway home. I feel like I just hit like the second half of my life. I'm trying to manifest living until I'm 90. So, you know, I'm about to hit the second half of my life, you know? And so I'm like, whereas before I was happy pretty much taking all my money and putting it towards the things I love to do. I'm at a place now where I'm like, okay, I want to start thinking more about my finances. Okay. I actually kind of want to start down that path to financial freedom and building wealth. And I think there's a lot of people, you know, in this age range who things have just started to change over the course of the past few years. They've changed, or you can see down the road they're going to change. Maybe your kids are grown, they're moving out. Maybe you went through like a divorce or something. You know, maybe the house is paid off now. You know, there's just so many things I feel like, or maybe you know, you get to this age, you start to get in touch with your mortality. Whereas before you thought you was going to live forever. Now you're kind of like, oh, okay, I'm starting to feel that, you know, this ain't forever, you know?
Okay, so a lot of topics you saw in my hair. One is being financially free. What I found interesting is that he drank his 20s and 30s away, according to him. I stopped drinking going on 3 years ago. And I never was a heavy drinker, never was a heavy social drinker. But I just, if someone wants to drink alcohol, I obliged. But I remember last year I drank, well, 2 years ago, going on 3 years ago, I had one shot, one beer, and I was sick for a week. Like, straight. Like I had like a fever, like headaches, like I felt like trash. Like people's had like 1 day hangovers. I had like a 7 day hangover. Anyway, long story short, I gave up alcohol for that reason, but I never drank alcohol a lot anyway, and that's why I never had a tolerance for it. But he said that now he's coming to terms with the fact that you could be your own mortality. And I came to terms with my own mortality when I found out I had heart disease at the age of 25 when I was just about to graduate college. Here I am thinking about being free and finally being able to work in my field. And now I'm faced with like life or death. Doctors told me I had the 50-50 chance to live, and so I got onto my health journey from there, and now I'm a personal trainer, 10 years later. I want him to talk about, though, why he doesn't have a house. I know he mentioned that he doesn't have a house, he doesn't have a car, he was in Thailand for 3 weeks, so let's continue to hear what he has to say about it.
So things start to change around this age, and I think it can change kind of our outlook on our finances. And I know there's a lot of us who up until now maybe have just been like getting by or spending our money doing something we loved. And now maybe we have the opportunity to kind of get started, building some wealth, getting financially free.
Becoming financially free is concerning, but you know what's equally as concerning? Not having health insurance. And that's why today's video is sponsored by Ishmael Stonewall. Take it from here, Ish.
Yeah, so thanks, Shape. So as we know, a lot of people are looking for health insurance right now. It's open enrollment. I offer free consultations to my clients. We work with small businesses, families, and individuals to find their best health insurance options. Now, we work with all major carriers, Aetna, Blue Cross, Cigna, and United, on their public and private networks. Typically, we save our clients about 20% on their premiums, and we get them PPO networks, which means nationwide coverage. So if anyone listening here could benefit from a consultation, maybe save some money on your insurance or find something better, hit me up, give me a call, give me a text, schedule with me, and I'll see if I can help you out. Let's go.
Yeah, so if you need health insurance or you're looking to reduce your premiums, give my buddy Ishmael a call and let him know Shape sent you.
And setting up our finances to fund the rest of our life. Okay? The funny thing is, the ironic thing is, most of the financial advice I feel like on the internet is aimed towards younger people just starting out like in their careers, or like older people whose careers are about to be over. Like if you're 20 something, they want to tell you about, oh, do this, do it for 40 years, boom, 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 boom. You'll retire at this much. And they love talking to like the 60-year-olds about, oh, you're about to retire. This is how much money, blah, 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 all this. I feel like our group kind of gets left out. Unless it's an article like, oh, if you're 50 and don't have $1 million saved for retirement, you're screwed. Like you get those type of articles. But we're the people just being like, hey, it's never too late to start on your financial journey. It's never too late to get financially literate. It's never too late to like learn about money and like start stacking chips up for the second half. So that's what I'm starting to do myself. Okay. And I've really just been, over the past few months, I was reading like a lot of financial books and really delving into like money and finances. And it really kind of boiled down to like 5 things I think we can start doing if we hadn't been doing them before. Like 5 core things. Okay. One is to like increase your income. Make more money. The second one I think is to kind of change our spending habits, change how we view money, change kind of what we do with our money. Okay. The third is like getting out of debt. The fourth is saving money. The fifth is investing money. Those are like the 5 core things you need to know. And if we all start working on those things, that can totally change our financial future. The odd thing though is, once again, most people always, especially on the internet, they always want to play in the extremes. Most people are all about just make more money or invest money. The stuff in the middle, people don't really like to talk about. The stuff in the middle ain't as sexy. How to make more money, sexy. How to invest your money, sexy. How to save money, people are like, ugh. How to pay debt, you're like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like how to change your money mindset and stop blowing money. People are, oh, I don't want to talk about that. But I think you have to do all that because like, yes, increasing your income is good. If you can do it in a way that still allows you to like live your life and do the things you love. Cool. But if you don't do point number 2 and like change your spending habits and change, how you manage your money, you're just going to blow more money. And that's what a lot of people do. When they do get a raise, they just spend more money. They were making this much money, they spent this much money. When they get the raise, this much money, they spend this much money. So it's like, if we're going to increase our income, then it's important that like we start to police our spending so we don't just like spend even more, right?
Yeah, I think he has a good point there. The only thing I would say is that for most people, earning more money is one of the bigger problems because you can't really save yourself into financial freedom, right? I mean, I believe in the fast lane, right? There's a great book called The Millionaire Fast Lane. A link to this book and other books that I like for financial freedom is in the description. Just click on the Amazon affiliate link. And to me, I think it's one of the best financial books because it talks about how speed is everything when it comes to money, right? Because let's say you make 100 grand, damn, in a year. All right, cool. What if I can make 100 grand in a month, or 100 grand in a week, or even better yet, 100 grand in a day? This is the difference of it all. Right? Yeah, saving's important, but you can't save 100 grand if you don't got 100 grand. It's that simple. I mean, maybe the plan should be what he's suggesting is save your way into your financial freedom. Like, if you earn 30 grand this year, save 10% of it, and in the next 30 years you'll have $90,000. But you got 30 years to save 90 grand when there's people making 100 grand in a month. I'm just saying, like, whether we want to accept that or not, that's the reality. So wherever you are in life, you want to figure out how you can make that same amount of money in a shorter amount of time. I think that's the easiest thing to tell people. To tell people, like, save this way, save that way, that's not financial freedom. Making money expeditiously fast is how you make money. That's just the reality. Well, that's how you really become financial free. Unless you want to wait till you're like 90 years old to have $1 million. I mean, it just, then what? What's $1 million when you're 90? It's not the same.
Saving money. Very few people want to talk about saving money. And if you do start to talk about saving money, people will say, oh, saving money's pointless. You do realize that the US dollar has lost this much money since, I know all this. Yes, but, and people will say, oh, if you just put money in the bank, you're actually losing money. Yes, but you're losing less money than if you just like go out and blow it on food, clothes, and other stuff you don't really care about. Spending money on stuff you care about, yes, but blowing it on stuff you don't really care about is wasting your money. So saving it is actually better than that. But once again, well, I tell you, there's all kind of weird stuff around money. That's why we're going to go into this, folks. This is just video number 1. We're going to break all this down. We're just having a discussion now. But it's like saving money is better than blowing money. So yes, even though there's a step after saving money, which is like putting some of that money towards paying down debt, which is saving you even more money every month, and then also investing the money, we got to save it before we can invest it. People want you to jump to investing before you even save it. What am I investing if I'm not saving? I got to save it first, And I'm a big believer that a lot of people make a lot of money the worse off you are with your money. The worse off I am with my money, the less I know about my money, the more money other people make. And so that's why I think there's so much bad advice out here about money. You know what I mean? I think that's why there's so much bad advice. There's so much like contradictory advice. There's just so many voices out here talking about it and pretty much all.
See, he to me is going to make this confusing for average people because I came and I watched his video and I wanted him to talk about him being broke in his 40s. But instead, he's talking about the complexity of learning personal finance, which I agree. It's complex. But I think the simple thing is this. You got to work for money or you can have something that works for money for you, such as a business. So either you could earn money from your own labor or you could earn money from your assets. It's very simple. And so whatever your asset is, your asset should be able to produce money for you in your sleep. And the question there now comes, how much money do you want your asset to produce for you? Do you want an asset that produces $10,000 a month, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? I mean, all these assets exist. People just need to know that hey, wow, really, I can live my life right now. The quiet life that people have right now, let's say $40,000, $50,000 a year, let's say that's the average, or $60,000 a year, that's the average. You could live a life like that with an asset that pays you that exact amount in return every year for you to take home. I'm not saying total gross revenue, but the bottom line, you'll take home 50 grand. You got to ask yourself, what assets are those? Because the financial freedom is not having a bunch of money, it's having a bunch of time. That's financial freedom. Financial freedom is actually not about finances. It's about freedom of your time. Because people have no money, they have to sacrifice their time for money. Therefore, they have less time. You don't want to be so rich, but your time poor, that you can't spend your money. Then there's no purpose of being rich. There's some people, they work 80-hour weeks and, they're losing sleep. They can't work out. All they're doing is working, trading their time for money. Reality of it is they might be financially rich, but they're lifestyle poor. I live a great lifestyle. I work 15 hours a week. I'm a personal trainer and I do YouTube. I have a lot of freedom of time. I wake up, I work at night. So for me, that's equivalent to me making at least $60,000, $70,000 a year more because I could do that. And I work at a gym, so I have fun. I train. I'm in the gym. I love the gym. I get to work at a gym. So financial freedom is really not feeling like you're working. You don't feel stressed. You're in a chronic cycle of adrenaline and cortisol and, all these different hormones running through your body, adding stress to your body, right? Which ultimately is going to kill you. So financial freedom, when people want financial freedom, is really tantamount to they want time freedom. They want freedom of their time, freedom to go where they want to go when they want to go there. And you only have that if you have assets that produce you money. Because if you have to constantly keep trading your time for money, you're going to run out of time. You might start stacking up the money, but you sold your life away. Financial freedom is about buying back your life. So, I tell people this all the time. Like, one, look to acquire assets as soon as possible in your life. That's the easiest way to go about it. 20s, 30s, 40s, acquire assets. If you're smart enough to save money when you're, let's say, under 18 years old, and you're able to put a down payment on a house by the time you turn 18, and you turn that house into a rental property, and you just continue on that path till you're my age, 36. Let's say you buy one house a year till you're my age, you're 36. I'm not saying it's easy. It's probably going to be challenging, but the first one's going to be the hardest. The second one's going to be easier. And from there, and I could get into this. I'm probably not going to get into this, but from there, you could, what people do is they call HELOC hacking, you know what I'm saying? House hacking or HELOC hack. What it is like you borrow money against the equity of your house to buy another house. And you keep doing that into perpetuity. Anyway, so there's a financial way to talk about it. I guess I could get more into about another video, but it's beyond the scope of this video. The point I'm trying to say is buying one house will give you more opportunity to buy another house. And if you keep that trend going on, let's say by the time you're my age at 36, you'd have 18 properties. Minimum. That's if you only buy one a year, By year 5, and you say you have 5 properties, you can start buying more than one a year. Maybe even by year 3. I'm just saying. Anyway, whole point I'm trying to say about that is that's the key to financial freedom. People need to understand is that if you don't have to trade your time for money, you can live very differently. And then you will start considering how much money you're spending. All those things will fall into line. Right? You got a fixed income. You got to live on a fixed income. People are so good at living on fixed incomes, but imagine living on a fixed income from your assets. And so you know that, all right, this asset that I own over here brings me in $5,000 a month. So that's all I have for the entire month until the following month. Then people will budget that. And so if you spend heavy one month, fine, all right. As long as you can still pay your bills, the next month you just do better. So I think I don't want to say the saving part's easy, but it is easy to save when you have a surplus of money, especially when the money's not connected to your own time. I feel like I made a better video than him. Maybe I should scratch the fact that I'm reacting to his video and make my own finance video. Because I think it's really simple. Like I look into, for those who are still watching, I appreciate you. This has been a very interesting conversation. But I've studied money for a long time. I grew up in a household. My dad was affluent. My dad essentially became rich, but he came to this country as an immigrant. He migrated from Trinidad, went to NYU, got his master's, started working on Wall Street in IT, and was able to make a good amount of money. And to the point where, like I said, I always lived in new homes growing up. So I grew up as an affluent, I guess you could say, black kid. You don't even need to put the black on it, but let's just put the black on it, So I grew up affluent, and I lived in nicer homes than the communities I lived in, than most people lived in that community, I said it to say that I've always been around money, but my dad wasn't splurging and spending on Rolex watches and nice clothes. I think he had a Rolex, but I'd never even seen it. He never even really wore it around the house or whatever. I think he had one. He tells me he has one. But my dad, in many ways, was what I thought was financially free. And I always wondered, all right, so what do people do? But my dad was an entrepreneur. He was a high earning income kind of person where he earned a big income, right? So for those high earners, you make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. I said it's a lot easier to save money. Now, some people will be better than others, right? Some people would save, my dad, I think he saves 25% of his income every year. So shout out to him for being a beast at that. So he's a super saver, according to him, from what he told me, and I believe him. But I think the other part of the conversation is, we don't realize this. When he said no one talks about debt, right? Everyone's trying to get out of debt, but the reality of it is the richer people are trying to get into more debt. It's two different paradigms. The poor and the middle class are trying to get out of debt. The rich class are trying to get into more debt. They're trying to get more loans for more money to buy what? More assets. Because this, at the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you, the true understanding of financial freedom and making more money is not about charging a higher hour of employment for yourself. Let's say instead of you charge $20 an hour, you charge $30 an hour for your employment, right? So a higher bang for your time, right? A higher buck for your time, a higher dollar amount. Instead of doing that, you could say, all right, what about instead of me earning the money through my own labor, trading my time, I have an asset that earns the money, and that's game changing. Trust me, like life would, even if you only made 50 grand a year from an asset, you still could live for free, essentially. You're just walking around doing nothing. You have real control of your time and your life. That's financial freedom. You don't gotta make $1 million to be financially free. A lot of people don't understand the concept. If you have an asset that can pay for your time and your resources, such as your rent, your car, your this and that, which for most people, I think most people live in less than $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year. If you have an asset that produces that, you could live for free every year. Can you buy the most expensive things? Probably not. But you don't got to work. And a job. And there's assets that do it. We can go into it. People try the real estate route. I'm a real estate agent, so I know a lot about it. But I prefer to be YouTube, so this is going to be my assets are these videos. The more videos I make, those are assets that earn money. This, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm sleeping and people watching my videos, they make money. This is the digital landscape real estate game. I'm playing real estate on YouTube, just a different real estate game. The real estate of videos and IP, intellectual property. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. That's my thoughts on it. Good video either way. I'm happy with it. It's kind of, I wanted to see more him breaking down why he's broke, but we were able to turn the conversation to, I guess, something more exciting. Anyway, like this video, subscribe to the channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you at my other videos.